Let's talk about buying poles versus renting poles. Oh, and at the end of this video, I'm going to draw another name from the hat and give another $1,000 in poles to a pole vault program. Pole Vault Initiative had two big things I wanted to accomplish. The first was to help pole vault education, which is why I wrote the book in the first place. And the second thing I was seeing is that I wanted to get more poles into pole vault programs, because even if you had the education, but you did not have the equipment to practice what you just learned, it's not gonna work. Try playing soccer without a soccer ball. So that's why $5 from everything sold on team-hoot.com is being put into a pot, and $1,000 in pole vault poles is being donated to pole vault programs. I want to grow the sport educationally and, equipmently. So I launched this thing about 4 weeks ago, and within maybe an hour of the launch, I got an email from a gentleman by the name of Jim Hill. What he said in the email was, "I love your cause, I love what you're doing, and I share your passion." He then went on to explain that 3 years ago, he started an Essex pole rental business. His goal was to try and get more poles in the hands of pole vaulters, which is essentially what I'm trying to do too. So yeah, we do share the same passion. He then went on to explain that when I hit my first $1,000 goal with the Pole Vault Initiative, that he would throw in an additional $1,000 to draw another name from the hat to try and get more poles in other programs' hands. And that's where we are today. We both recognize that pole vault programs, especially high schools, need more poles. They just don't have a variety to be able to do what they need to do. And the way I've always thought of it is like golf. If you try and go play 9 holes of golf, 18 holes, whatever you want to do with just a putter, you have one putter. That's the same as a pole vault program only having one pole. A line of poles is what these programs need. Where I'm trying to give poles to pole vault programs, Jim is renting poles to pole vault programs. Is one better or worse? I get this question a lot, and I think this is a perfect opportunity to explain the pros and cons of both of those. So let's dive down the rental pole. What am I doing with my hands? Being like a little velociraptor. Rabbit hole here, let's go. Renting poles versus buying poles. Which is better? Let's talk money first. It's cheaper to rent, unless you're gonna rent for like 50 years. Then it's cheaper to buy, so that's important. What are you renting for? What are your plans? What are your goals? Which brings us to number 2. What are you doing with these poles exactly? If you just need poles for a season, it's better to rent. If you need poles like you're building a program, a dynasty, a high school powerhouse, college powerhouse, club powerhouse, maybe just a powerful house. It doesn't matter. Then you want to build long term. If you know you're in this for the long haul, it is going to be better to buy poles. But if you have 1 or 2 athletes who are just going to state and you just need the next pole or 2, renting is your jam. If you buy 2 poles for a kid going to state, $500, $600, $700, $800, $900 in poles, where you could have just rented them for a couple $100 and got the same result. So in the short term, it is better to rent. In the long term, it is better to buy. And last but not least, it's pole use. Let's do the kid to state again. Say you have a kid going to state and he needs a 15, 170, 175, and 180. If you buy those poles, your program owns them, and that's gonna be probably around $1,000, something crazy, right? But who's ever gonna jump on those poles ever again? You have a state caliber athlete, maybe he's big, maybe he weighs more, maybe he's faster than the average kid learning how to pole vault, and those poles won't be touched and they'll be collecting dust. So, think of who will use the pole. Say you have a kid that needs like a 12-120 or 12-130. A lot of vaulters can jump on those poles, not just your freak state caliber kid, on those 15-foot poles, but anybody even learning how to vault can jump on those poles. So those are gonna have more bang for your buck and touch more hands. So what's better, renting or buying? It doesn't matter. They're both awesome. They both are like the yin and yang, and we need them both. They're both really awesome tools depending on how you're gonna use them. And having both tools is going to help a lot, and that's kind of the theme of the Pole Vault Toolbox, was have these tools, because a hammer isn't better than a screwdriver. It just depends what you need them for. Guys, actually, I just did a podcast with Apex Pole Vaulting. We talked about, instead of being competitive with each other, clubs and organizations, how it's going to help us all if we can come together. And so this email I got from Jim kind of touched on that. It just feels like it's already happening, and it feels really good. So this is my way of saying, thank you, Jim. Mr. Hill, I'm from the Midwest. I don't know how formal I'm supposed to be anymore. Times are changing. Because of you, I get to make this phone call. So, thank you.
I'm so excited. You just don't know how much excited I am.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so pumped.
We live in a country, and we live in a small town, and they just don't have money for track, you know, and stuff that we've done has been paid out of our pocket, like going to get extra help and stuff. My son's a senior this year. So, they're always, they've always been a negative poles, and the poles they have are home.
Yeah.
So this is going to be some awesome.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands.
Just be aware that due to the demand of the holiday season, I'm only allowed to have a select number of books printed. So all I'm asking is that you have your orders in prior to November 30th, 2019.
Hope they won't shoot me down soon.